And also, yeah, let me give a quick introduction about myself. I'm Kishore Ramaraju, resident of Sugarland, Texas. Um, I'm a founder of this Indian Desi Friends WhatsApp group, where we have over 30,000 plus members in now in 30 plus cities. One of my passions is to basically share information, bring subject matter experts, and try to see that information is shared so everybody knows, right? If we retain the information, basically that doesn't have the value. When we share it with more and more people, then it becomes an open system. If I don't share and you don't share, everything will be closed. But when we try to start sharing, you share, then we all become like we is always better than I. So that's what I believe in. I share that, and I try to create that habit or create that process. So as part of that process, I organized over 200 plus webinars and seminars in last 2 plus years in all different areas. So because of this huge network, I know most of these CPAs or immigration attorneys, doctors, from all different areas. So it is a win-win for everyone, because for them it will help them, so everybody knows about them. For our members, it will help them because they are getting that free information from the subject matter experts. And especially in last 4 weeks, right, where everybody is panicked about the COVID, all these things, we thought instead of worrying about COVID, let us use this quarantine period and get more and more knowledge so that we can effectively use the time instead of watching some fake messages on WhatsApp, fake messages on social media, or worrying about the death counts by seeing the TV channels. It is best time where we can learn those concepts which are important for each and everyone, and which are useful for lifetime. I organized around 22 webinars in past 4 weeks, and there are few more webinars in pipeline. I am planning to do it for another 1 month until things get controlled. Then maybe again we'll continue to do monthly ones. But as of now, we are doing minimum on average every week. We are having 3 to 4 webinars, so that I want to engage everyone. So you are using time effectively rather than thinking some negative thoughts. Right? We have 4 or 5 more. Right? One of them is Python for kids. There is a demo by 12-year-old data scientist. Right? Mr. Siddharth, he is the youngest data scientist in entire Asia. By 12 years, he became a data scientist. He is working now. He is 3 days he's going to a school, 3 days he is working in a big software company. We already had one session with him on the motivation or how people with goal can achieve anything. We had one session, and on this Tuesday we have a demo. He's going to train all the kids on Python. So he and his father, they will talk like uh, how anybody can be successful, right? There is no age limit or anything. It is everything is in your mindset. Anybody can achieve anything as long as you think positive, you think you can do it, you can do it. So that's what we are doing that webinar on this 428. The next one is college admission changes. There are a lot of changes happening. So there is one seminar on 430 related to college admissions. And then innovative ways to lower college cost of attendance. It is on May 7th. Then I am also talking to a few subject matter experts on options and forex trading. Then we have another session on high school to medicine. What is the pathway? How kids in middle school, high school should prepare for the medicine. We all understand what is the importance of medical field now in the COVID situation. Everything is closed, but they are working for 24 bar 7. So there is a huge demand. Everybody want to know about, and they want to be get into the medical field. So the doctors will explain like what all it takes for students, what all habits they need to build from now. That will be right. It will be maybe next Sunday. I'm planning to do that. If you want any other sessions, if you want to gain knowledge in any other concepts, you can email me or you can text me, and I will try to bring those subject matter experts so that we all can learn from the subject matter experts. Right? These are some webinars. If some of you are new to these webinars, I want to share the concepts so that in case if any of these concepts are interesting for you, you can some of or 60 to 70% of these are recorded. Remaining 30% we cannot record because of the IP restrictions by those guest speakers. But we did nearly 8 sessions related to kids and college education, how to get into elite colleges, college financial planning, how to prepare for SAT and ACT. right? One of the Harvard student who got perfects in both SAT and ACT, Apurva and Mr. Jatin. They trained nearly 1,000 kids on how to prepare for SAT, ACT. Then 529 plans and alternate strategies for kids' college savings. Why AP courses are important. All about college essays. Then we did the session with that coding wonder, 12-year-old data scientist, Mr. Siddharth. Then how should high school students plan for a career in medicine? All these sessions we completed. Then related to investments and career, future of affiliate marketing, how to build wealth in a recession, ABCs of Bitcoin, which again Bhavik did as part one of this session. So we are doing the second part today. Then passive income from real estate investments and data science with Python, fun with Python for kids, scaled agile certification training, and making passive income from Fluzz app. So all these various webinars we did related to investments and career options. And related to current scenario, take charge of your mind, right? How to control your negative thoughts, how to be positive, how to be focused in this situation. We had two sessions. Mr. Mohan Naidu took these two sessions on the meditation or how to meditate, all those things. Then impact on immigration and visa extensions due to corona. Then CARES Act and SBA disaster loans. Mr. Anil and Rahul took the seminar on this, webinar on this. And emergency immigration session on the new executive order on travel restrictions. Then mortgage refinance education. So we had all these nearly 21, 22 webinars in last 4 weeks. If any of you are interested with any of those, you can go to YouTube, you can search on my name, and also you can subscribe so that if you missed anything or uh, any of your future sessions, you will get a notification. So again, I request that everybody use the time effectively, read some good books, use this time to learn some new skills so that we all are a better skilled after this COVID effect. We all should thank COVID in one way that we have more time to do things which were pending since long time, right? Now let me introduce our guest speaker today, Mr. Bhavik Desai, who is one of our group admins. He is also helping with administering our Boston group. He is an investor of stocks, forex, and cryptocurrencies. He got a lot of followers in all these areas. He helps thousands of members in both stocks area, forex area, cryptocurrency for completely free. He don't charge anything. Some of the members in few groups asked, is it like a marketing pitch or something? No, Bhavik never charged anything or he's planning to charge anything. He's doing because of his interest, his passion. He want to help people. He want to make sure nobody's people lost thousands of dollars in crypto because of lack of knowledge. He don't want anybody else to be doing the same mistakes. So that's why he is helping so many people, so many members, taking all his personal time in educating them, creating that awareness. So all these areas, it will be free. Angel investor, he's an angel investor in India. He started a lot of startups. He's an IT professional in ERP technologies and also PeopleSoft and Workday. He's a trainer in ERP and cloud technologies. He conducted various seminars for corporates, universities on future of ERP and cloud. And he is proud technical analysis expert. And 95% or 98% he is accurate with his predictions because I'm in his group since multiple years, since last two plus years, I know. And he's also an active immigration advocacy for backlog community. He spends a lot of his time on supporting all those initiatives related to immigration advocacy. He also he did lot of reading on current events, analysis, trend study, and excited about always about new technologies, adaptation. So thanks, Bhavik, for all your support to our group members and taking time to educate our community on all these things. And especially last Bitcoin session was appreciated by hundreds of members, and there are like more than 1,000 views on YouTube channel. Everybody is appreciating because many people, even experts in crypto, when they attend the meeting, they told that they should have this session before 2 years. They would have got much more money. They would have not made many mistakes which they made because of that lack of
हाँ एक
knowledge.
प्रचुर किसी
So
भूमिका दें लोग
yeah. So Bhavik, it's all over to you, and I will also mute everyone. Uh, so if you have any questions, you can feel free to uh, enter your questions in the chat window. and Bhavik will answer all those
Thanks, Kishore, for the great introduction. And before even I start, I would request everybody to please right away finish the survey. And the reason why I'm asking to do this survey is because we have a mix of population in this particular session. And I want to make sure that people get benefited out of it rather than leaving some people on the sides and just moving on with the other topics. So if possible, for your own betterment, I would say just do the survey, and it's an anonymous survey. It doesn't matter. Your name is not going to show up what you chose. So for your best interest, please do the survey quickly. I will give you like quick 2 minutes, and then I'm going to open the survey. It's anonymous anyways. No one's name is going to come up. And we are going to go through the survey and take a public opinion and then start the meeting. In the meantime, I will also give you a quick information saying that I have tried to put this session not a presentation at all. Like there have been some sessions in the past that Kishore has tried and done on technical analysis, and I reviewed those, and it seems like they have been mostly like presentations and then a little bit of online website trading view kind style chart. But what I'm going to do is like we are going to talk 100% practical and literally all charts. There is literally no presentation for this particular session. I would also recommend, if you want, go and check my previous seminar video as well. It will help you understand, how the concepts and things about what cryptocurrencies are and bitcoins are. But in this particular session, we are going to talk about not just Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies, but I will try to do S&P 500, Dow Jones, and probably one or two stocks if I have time for that. But technical analysis has nothing to do with crypto or forex exchange or stocks as different. They are all the same. Technical analysis applies to all of the same places, same rules, no differences. You can technically make the same exact chart if it exists, and on the other one as well. So many people have this notion that stock markets and crypto, they have different technical analysis rules. That's not true. That's totally false. So as people are taking survey, I'm just looking at the chat as well. Folks, try your level best to not send me private messages during the session, because it actually stops me and kind of distracts towards the chat messages. Try to divert them towards Kishore, and at the end of the whole session, I will make sure that all the questions are actually answered. So no one is going to be left out. But yeah, send me a message only if you have very minute question on the existing chart that you have and you cannot wait until later. The best thing is to type it down on your notepad on your PC so you remember what it is, and at the end we'll take care of all the questions together. Okay, just remember what chart and what your question was. Okay. All right, guys, without waiting further, I think I'm going to share my screen. We'll open the survey first to see how or what people expect from this session, and then we'll go from there. Okay. All right. All right. So this is the survey that people have taken today, and we'll see the results, how it looks like. So with the first question that I actually had for everybody was, do you want this session to be more like a basic charting session or advanced? The votes are so close to each other, like close to 50%, both like 48 and 50. I will do one thing is go through the basic navigation inside the tool quickly for like 15-20 minutes. I know it will be boring for some advanced users, but it would be fair to the people who don't know about it. At least they will have some clue rather than having no clue what we are talking about, because this session we want people to learn to do the charting themselves rather than depend on some CNBC to tell you what you need to do. What I asked here was, do you use trading for short terms, daily, hourly? Are you an intraday or weekly trader, monthly, yearly? I'm very happy to see that most people in this survey voted for once a week or month or a year. Not once, I'm sorry, that's the wrong word, but more like a long-term investor as opposed to a daily intraday trader. Because if you're a daily intraday trader, I would say, don't worry about learning charting because you already probably know about it. So that helps me decide what we need to do next. This is an important question because most traders that I normally hear about, or they go out trading or whatever, they normally follow CNBC, NBC, and whatnot. Traders online, and even they pay for such services, which is kind of crap, because the thing is, these same traders, they have their own accounts. They buy those stocks first and then ask you to buy it, in short, pumping those stocks by itself, and then they sell it, and you are kind of many times stuck holding it. So I'm a very non-believer of such groups, and I kind of don't like it. And the reason I don't like it is because it's done for whatever reason. Anyways, so the next question was about drawing the technical chart lines. Most people have said no to it, and then some people, they know how to do drawings, but they are not sure if they're right or not, or things like that. So we'll talk very much in details about how those lines are drawn, or how those different diagrams are made, and how you can determine exit and entry prices, which is exactly my next question. That's asking, what are your entry exit prices? Are you okay to figure that pieces out? So most people have said they want to learn that, they don't know how to do it, and then most people feel that they normally use news for entry and exit, or guesswork. That's a perfect recipe for disaster. So you should actually try learn yourself, so you have your own self to blame, and not someone else for the money that you're going to lose, right? Again, this whole session, you need to remember, everybody, is just for learning purposes. There is no suggestions whatsoever. There is nothing in terms of investments that is that is being advised, because no one here is a financial advisor. So this is a clear note. If you don't disagree with that, please drop the session right now. The next question was more about, you want to learn how to avoid charting mistakes, and yes, of course, most questions were yes to it. I wanted to know how much length of people's tradings are, like 5 years, 10 years. So I think the most votes stand around 0 to 5 years, and then some of them between 5 to 10. And those people who have said 10 plus years, I would assume that you guys really know good charting, and that's why you do it rather than just following somebody for 10 plus years. And then if you know charting, I would assume that these are the websites you know about already. So I'm most likely going to concentrate on websites like tradingview.com, and then the charts cointrader.pro. And we'll talk about that. Investing.com is the same, it's no different. So most people have voted no, not sure, and then kind of, so like not sure about how to use those websites. So we're going to talk about that. As far as the charts are concerned, I will try my level best to cover all of it, even if there are a very small number on things like XRP, which is I'm very happy about. Most votes have gone to things like Bitcoin, Ethereum, and then S&P 500. So, or even say Dow Jones or Litecoin for that matter. And then I just want to know, how do you know how to draw the lines, or things like that. I think the answers are more like in line with the above questions, which is very good. And then the final question was about the WhatsApp group, just so I understand how do I need to deal. So like, this is really sad that people really don't understand the charts, which are so well written down. And it's easy actually, because I don't really put very complex diagrams in there, and you will see that in this session today. The important part here is also to understand is seeing those charts, it helps you to trade, not like it doesn't help you to trade. So you need to understand those charts for your own betterment. Okay. Hopefully we will get this percentage better the next time we do these sessions. So that's good. So let's jump into at least one of the charts, and I want to see if you are able to see my screen that I have pulled out. Okay. All right. So, all right. So, all right, guys, give me like 2 seconds. I'm having some issue here with the web browser itself. Give me 1 second. Okay, guys. So I have to open some. Sorry, guys, I'm having some difficulty with the browser itself, and as soon as I'm opening some windows, it's making me redo things that are not needed, to be honest.
Do you want to minimize it a little bit, by
Sorry.
Do you want to try minimizing it to little bit X?
Yeah, can you see it now? I think it should be
You
fine.
can see tradingview.com.
Yeah, okay, that's what it was needed. All right. So, guys, we'll quickly go through the basics of this website, how to use the tools on the website. I will just open some. I said say a Bitcoin chart just to open it up. It doesn't matter what we are going to talk, because this is more like just to understand the chart. So what you do here is you search the ticker, what you're using, and then on the right side you need to look at what exchanges you're looking for. So like, for example, if you're looking at Dow Jones or things like that, like DJIA, you will look at what exchange you want to look for, if that's a choice for you. I mean, many people don't care, they just pick up any exchange they want and start looking at the chart. So just as a point, I mean, as far as Bitcoin is concerned, I normally look at Binance, Bitfinex, or even Coinbase for that matter. But for the purposes of this particular example, I'm just going to pick any one, doesn't matter, because we are just quickly going to talk about the charting. So this particular page is really overwhelming. You might be very confused with so many hundreds of different options you have here. So I would tell you, don't get like too lost here. The most important pieces that you're going to use here is on the left side of the bar, and not all of them. I will tell you which ones normally. And then on the top there are some ones that you will going to use, and then a couple here on the right side. Okay, on the top, sorry, not on the right side. And mostly these ones you don't need, most likely. I will tell you, on the left side these are all different options. So like trend lines are ones like, you choose this and you kind of make a line like this. So that's what this trend line actually tells you, that the stock is going up or down in that particular direction, right? Things like horizontal ray is a great option, and I use that like on daily basis and on anything that I'm charting. You know why? Because if I'm looking at any horizontal pricing from left to right and see what the levels are, say for example in this case I'm going to put that marker here. It's going to show me the blue line from left to right, and it also shows me the price on the right side. So this is actually my choice for horizontal lines, and rather than choosing a trend line, because a trend line is just a line, doesn't give me anything else. But when I use this particular marker, it not only gives me the price all the way to the right corner, but also the price of what that line is all about. So that actually is a great one that I use. Arrows are just simply, it's like just like that. So you go from left to right, or just first click to the right click, whatever you can call that, and then you make those arrows, right? Things like all these other ones, you can use it, but I normally don't. There is no need for that. There is no reason for me. I just draw my lines neat, so I don't really care about being I need accuracy from the tool by itself. So I'll move over to the next icon on the left. This is like the pitchforks, the shift pitchfork, and all that kind of stuff. But these are really big ones. Like you need to really know the fib retracement levels and all that kind of stuff to understand what all this is. So I would stay out of this particular option for now. Till the time you're learning. The reason why I'm saying that is you don't want to get scared and run away from doing basic lines at least. So we will talk about the pitchfork and Fibonacci retracements during our session today. Okay, but all the other ones I don't think I want to confuse everybody with. These are simple tools like drawing, like the one that you see, paintbrush. Like you can just draw whatever you want. Like say for example, you want a rectangle, which I have done that in my presentations. You do this, and what that helps is to see a range of values for this particular candle. Set the word candle, I don't know if all the people understand what it means. What it means is, let me zoom on to one big candle, right? And let's see what it actually means. So when you see these candles, these are called candlesticks diagrams. There are different ones that are line chart, bar chart, and things like that. But the candlesticks are mostly the favorite for all the technical charting people. The reason being that it gives a lot of details to what it means, right? So keep in mind, like, let's look at this two candles next to each other, right? And what these ones are doing actually is this two. I'm highlighting them so that you can see what it is. On the left one there is a green candle, and on the right one there is a red. So if you see the small sticks up and down, like this looks like candles, and then like a normal wax candle. So the bottom, these are called wicks on the top and bottom, right? And the center is called the actual body. Okay. Now what does this mean to a layman, right? Like me and you. It means is the bottom is where the price opened for that particular day, right? The top is where the price closed, because it's a green candle. If it's a red candle, it's exactly the opposite. It opened price on the top, it closed the price at the bottom, right? So that's exactly what this candle means. So it actually, by just looking at it, you put this cross hover line over this lines, and you can see on the right what the price for that particular day was, or whatever the chart is for, right? So that's particular of what the candles are. What you see on the bottom is the volume indicator, right? So you can switch off the volume indicator from here. This is, the eye that you can like kind of switch off and it goes away. The volume indicator is kind of helpful at times to realize what the whole trading overall is going on. So it helps people to understand how people are behaving in terms of the market sentiments, how much trading is going on, and things like that, right? This is just more like text, like call outs, messages, and things like that you use. You will see this all in my charting windows when I'm going to open those stuff for you. This is another place. All this Elliott wave principles and all that is something that is good to know, but I would recommend staying out of this until you start learning what are this basic linings and everything. Out of this, most likely you see something like ABCD patterns or say head and shoulders. And the reason why you do this is because this is a diamond pattern, or say this is head and shoulders, which normally everyone talks about. But I'm pretty sure that half of them don't even know what they're talking about. Why? Because there are very strong principles and rules with the head and shoulders. And I'm going to give you an example of that, which I had a discussion with a very experienced trader a couple of weeks back, or say a month back at least, and there was a argument behind the diagram, and I had to explain the charting principles to get that out of the head. Anyways, so that's the thing. Um, this one's all different levels again, the bar patterns and all that kind of stuff. But again, I would stay out of this. You guys don't need any of that. This is just all, emoticons kind of stuff where you don't really care about having those at all. And all these bottom ones, I don't think we need to discuss about that at all, right? Here, the D that you see here is seconds and minutes and hours and day, week, month charts. This is extremely important, okay? Extremely important. You know why? Because if at all you are looking at a day pattern, like look on the bottom of the screen, you would be able to see one day. And if you're looking at a daily pattern, whatever price prediction you do is only limited to one day for 24 hours. The next day, you have to reevaluate the chart. There is no questions about that. If you evaluate for a week, you're good for a week, right? You can stay away from the screen for a couple of days or half of a week. And if you do it for a month, doesn't mean that you keep sitting for the whole month. But I would say keep revisiting on weekly basis to the chart that you're seeing, because a sudden drops on some day and you will lose everything and you will have no idea what's going on. But the basic rules of this principles are: if you do a daily charting thing, then it's limited for a day. If you do for a week, it's week, and if for a month, it stays for a month, right? So say for example, okay, it's a very basic example based on this. So right now we are at a daily chart. This is a daily chart, right? And if you look at this pricing and you feel that this final candle is where your today's date is being transacted, right? It's live right now. This new candle has not formed. Think about this whole later part doesn't exist. Then you need to come revisit this candle at the end of the day, or at least tomorrow, right, in the morning. Otherwise, you're going to miss this red candle right after that, and then the subsequent trading patterns. So if you think that this pattern here, the line that I have drawn, is coming from almost like what, December? Look at this time frame on the bottom, right? So 23rd December on the left, right? And going almost until 17th February 2020. So like almost say what, 2 months. So if it is 2 months, but it does not mean that this new candle is going to respect the 2 months, right? So it's a daily candle, so you have to come revisit the daily candle. It's as simple as that. So even if your lines and things are for months and months, it's okay. You just have to come and see it, right? And re-evaluate the lines. If this is for a week, you have to come back at least midweek to come revisit the whole situation, what's going on. It's not this whole candle is going to be for 1 week, okay? One candle is 1 week, okay? If you see on the bottom date, this candle is 24th, like, let me come to the center of the screen. So this is 1st April 19, right? So the next candle is 8 April 19, which only means that this whole green big candle that my mouse pointer is on stays for 1 full week, right? So it's not like it's going to start making all these candles all of a sudden out of nowhere. So if it's a weekly candle, that's what it does, right? So you have time, but it shouldn't mean that you keep slipping over it. And this kind of big red candles that has formed here takes you completely aback and you have no idea what happened. So I would always say that make the charts, right? And wait over it, so it tells you what needs to be done next, right? That's what I use these charts for. A monthly candles are more like, a month, for a whole month. It stays there for a whole month. See how it says this candle for 1st January, this one is for 1st Feb, 1st March, 1st April, things like that. So here I'm actually waiting on this 1st April candle to close on the 30th and see what happens at the close, right? I will talk about that when we reach the screens, but I hope this makes sense to you guys. At the same time, this is the volume profile, so the volume was very high when it was right in those two candles, right? And then it started dropping and it became really bad until this one where it did had some spike. But anyways, who cares? So but the volume profiles are an important piece when you consider trading, right? To give you some information about it. On the right side, sorry, before even I skipped. So near to this daily and month, there is this small icon that tells you what kind of chart you want, like candles or see the bars, or say a line pattern, depending on what you like. My all-time favorite is always candles, and I only use that most likely. Um, Here is a compare symbol. So like if you want to overlay this chart and compare with something else, and what that something else is, meaning, say for example, I just did a daily chart. So on the bottom, you can also like, pull this timeline to the left or the right and squeeze the chart. Okay. Look, this is how exactly I'm squeezing. On the top, you can also reduce or increase the size. Remember, on this right corner, there is a button called auto. Switch that off if it does not let you move this, because most people have problems with that. Okay. So anyway, so coming back to the chart and then going to the compare, here I can do a S&P 500, right? And it's going to show me the chart. So the problem with this chart is if you remove the percentage piece, you cannot compare the two symbols, right? So either they have to be in the same exact category, or the percentage symbol has to go away. Okay. So just something for you to know. And then if you want to remove that, you can just hit cross or switch off or hit the hide button. So then coming to the indicators, there are tons and tons of indicators. We will be talking about this accumulation and distribution indicators. There are things like RSI, which is called the Relative Strength Index. There are a lot of things here, that you will be looking at volume profiles and net volume profiles and volume oscillators, things like that. But most likely, I use very, very few. And the names I just mentioned about like the volume profiles and the RSIs and daily moving average is another one, which I most likely use because it helps, just to see where the moving average crosses are. We'll talk about all that in the sessions. But I hope this is going to help at least the basic understanding. And then once you make the charts, you can click here on the layout and then save the chart so you don't lose it. But you need an account for that, right? In this particular session, for the account of for the reason of showing it to everybody, I'm just using a non-account because I don't want to expose my details at all. So I'm going to close this window because this is just for example purposes, and I don't care. The same goes with the charts dot pro trade, and I think I'm just going to open any one, and it's the same exact looking window because it is powered by TradingView on the left, if you see that. But the only difference is this particular website is even like has more freedom than the TradingView because it doesn't even need an account. So just as an example, this I'm showing, I don't really want to spend much time because these are all the same buttons, same icons, nothing is different, everything looks the same. Okay. All right, so now let's go to the charts and start looking at the charts, right? So the first chart that we should be opening is actually the Bitcoin chart. And what we are going to look at the Bitcoin chart is to understand, how do we draw the lines. Right now, you have a lot of drawing lines. You can see that because I didn't want to spend too much time during the presentation to actually keep drawing the lines and finding the spots, as opposed to keep it ready so I can speak about it as much as I can, right? I will expand it so you can see what it is. All right, so on the bottom, there is this indicator that you see that's called the RSI, right? And when you see what this line actually is at 70 and then 30, right? You can always modify all this things through the settings here. All of this different symbol that you have or the indicators you have, you can hit settings and then go check whatever styling and everything you want to change, right? But until you are used to it, keep things to default. Don't play too much with the indicator numbers and things like that, because that you will get confused. So for this particular thing, notice here, this is how you read the charts. Okay, when you look at the lines, you don't get scared. What you think, what you try to make meaning out of it is what this whole screen actually means overall, right? So here you see this top line that is on the RSI indicator, which says that as soon as the trading or of the stock goes beyond this line, it doesn't sustain too much. It doesn't wait too long. It comes back inside the trading range, right? So this is a very good sign. You know why? Because it tells you that beyond this line, you are just greedy and you are just waiting at any moment for the price to drop hard or go down or do something that you're not okay with. So, I use this RSI indicator in combination with all the other indicators that I use on the chart to tell me if this is making any sense or not, right? I'm going to keep this all very simple to understand as opposed to going very complex diagrams. So simple. The top line is tells you that it's the strength index is going to drop soon. This is a dangerous line to cross, and if you see anything close to it, be careful to what you are doing. This bottom line is where your normally bets of buying and things exist, where you want to look at it and make sure that along with other indicators this matches, and tells you that the RSI indicator is at the bottom because it's going to react right away and go upwards, right? So you can always have this RSI on for you in combination with the other events that's happening. So I'm going to put this down a little so I can talk about the chart. So on the top, you see on the larger piece of the diagram, you see that there is a black line that's coming from the bottom of the stock, right? And this is for the Bitcoin dollar, but this applies to all the stock market stocks. It doesn't matter. It's just Bitcoin is just as an example here, and that way we can talk about different stocks at different times during the session. But look at this black line. This is a long-term indicator. Someone might have question, how do you start the black line? So look at this line here, okay, and see how it touches every candle, right? You see, so not the ones where the price are deviating, but where the candles can start from, or the lines can start from the bottoms. Every time the price falls, the line should touch that. Now when this pricing like this goes up, there should be a different line for that, not this one. At least this is just telling you what is the bottom, okay? So this line continues, and you see in the middle of the trading chart, how the price is reacting as soon as it comes in contact with the black line, you see. And then once it loses support, it drops heavily from there, right? See that black line closely, right? Now going forward on the same line, you can continue to see that this black line has been proven very effective, because as soon as the price comes in contact with it, every time it has to react either upwards or downwards. It doesn't stay there. The price just doesn't want to stay around it, because it it has a lot of buyers and sellers around that line taking bets on their pricing. This is exactly how you figure out what your entry moments in the stock exchange is, or the exit moments are. So say for example, the price was running from here to the black line, you're going to put your bets to sell the price right at the line or just before the line. And the reason why you do that is so that you don't have to worry about the stock if it hits it and goes heavily down. Now if say for example this breaks right on the upward side, right, it goes up, right. Let me put an arrow here. So say for example this breaks here, look, right, it has decided that it's going to go up from here, right. So at that point you look at this spot here, and when it breaks heavily with a good amount of volume, what you do is do a buy right there, and then you wait for the top line, right. That's why I have this pink line to tell me what's coming from the top, where is the resistance sitting. Resistance and support lines are extremely important in technical analysis to understand. And in simple words, let's go back to the RSI. So when I said this is the top line where it gets dangerous and you have to be very careful of trading around this line or above this line, which only meant what I meant was this is the resistance. This is where the resistance sit, and this is where the support is. This is just an example. I'm saying there are a lot of other indicators. So I try to understand that these lines do mean something. Anything beyond it, if there is a price beyond that line going upwards, the upper resistance exists, and then anything down is called support. Okay, think about it this way. You have like 2 floors, right, and you throw a ball from the floor number 2. It comes and lands on floor number 1. right? And then bounces from there. That particular base is called the support. If you throw the ball upwards, then it's going to hit the ceiling and come back down, right? That's exactly where the resistance sits. That's called resistance. But if the ball is thrown so hard that it breaks the ceiling and goes through, right, then it's going to go through that line and then drop on that ceiling again and bounce to create support. And then it has to jump back from that base, and now that's support. Resistance converted into support. That's what it's called, right? So you break the line and you come back to the line, right? So in this particular example, like look at the black line here. I'm going to keep expanding or zooming in to see. Look here, the black line, right? It traded for this many days constantly around it, and then finally it took support here heavily, right? Here also it tried to take support, black line support, right? It didn't try to, it wanted to fall, but it didn't fall. It continued to hold until it happened here, and then from here on it went on. It didn't want to come back, right? So those are the levels that we kind of try to look at when we are looking at the technical chart analysis. Um, in this particular case of Bitcoin, the price constantly went upwards, and then you'll see this pink line that's coming from the top. That's the diagonal resistance. So what is diagonal and horizontal resistance, right? So you look at these lines, which are kind of diagonal in drawing. They are called diagonal trade lines. Like they give us the trend. So they are the diagonal trend lines, and then the ones that you see horizontal are horizontal levels, and those are also for the same reason, resistance and support, the same way the diagonals are. Depending on what chart you are looking at, different lines have different importance. In certain charts, you will not see the horizontal levels standing strong, but you will see the diagonal lines standing strong. In certain cases, it's the horizontal ones. So you have to draw these lines one after the other. And these lines that I'm showing you right now, on another chart that I've been watching these levels for really over 2 years. Look at this date down, 2018, right? This pink line. Like, think about it. It's been 2.5 years already, right? And I'm still looking at this line. So you don't have to draw these lines on daily basis. Once you draw it, you just keep it on your Chrome browser or on your trading view and save those charts, and you can reopen whenever you want and just visit this. So these lines helps long-term investors to decide if they want to sell something or buy something because it's a support or resistance, right? Notice that. There are other indicators on the chart too, that is like the moving average 50, 100, and 200. What does that mean? Is 50 is 50-day moving average, 100 is 100 days moving average, and then 200 is 200 days moving average. So what does that mean is that the price, when you look here as an example, this particular green line that you're seeing right now is a 200-day moving average, which only means that when the stock is getting traded, I'm going to zoom further, which only means that when the stock is going to go up towards it, when it takes support from this black line, blue line, whatever you call those, all those lines that I've drawn, right? It goes on the top and it hits that, right? And immediately reacts to go down because it doesn't like the green line, because it's a 200-day moving average. We already break the 200 moving average here and we came down, which only means that the price is not supporting even 200 days moving average, which only means even close to 6 months, right, or more than 6 months actually, is also not being supported by the price, which only means that if you buy anywhere here or anywhere in this rally and forget to sell on the top here, you're going to hold this stock for a good amount of time. This is exactly what many people make mistakes. What they do is they just buy because they suddenly saw on CNBC on the top. Like, if I've noticed this so many times on the news, that when the price comes very close to the top, this all the CNBC, NBC come out from somewhere and start shouting that the price is going to go to the top, like it is going to blow the top and it's going to go down up here. And all these people with herd mentality show up from somewhere and start putting money into it and then cry about the money for the next whatever time. The point is, you need to realize these lines and understand the importance of those. That way you can release your investment and go back to cash. So this line, this moving averages actually also help you to see what the confluence of the price along with this moving averages lines are, right? So so going back to the black and the pink lines, I'm going to switch off the moving averages because I've already explained the example, so I don't need them anymore. I'm going to make it a little cleaner so we don't have to really deal with a lot of things. I'm going to hide the 200. I'm going to hide the volume for now. Oh, I need the volume. And then I'm going to hide the RSI. I don't need the RSI either. Or I'm going to actually just remove it. Okay. So if you look at this chart, there was an example of the head and shoulders I wanted to talk, right? Before that, let's talk about the blue lines so you understand what that is. So this blue lines is a long-term support or resistance, whatever you call. So if the price is above the blue line, which means that it's going to behave like a support, and if the price is below the blue line, which means that it's going to react as resistance, right? So when the price look at how the price reacts as soon as it comes near the blue line, it comes, tries to break through, doesn't happen happily for a long time, or even for a couple of days. It just stays there, or even for one day probably. If I zoom in, you will be able to see that. So you see that it reacts there. You know, the price breaks down one day and then pulls back up the next day, and then because this is a daily chart on the top, you see there's just a 2-day candle around that line, and then it takes support again here. You see more candles are sitting over that, and then it pumps, straight pumps. And if you catch this move correctly, right, you see this, the price is at 7,500. Say, for example, you woke up at even 8,000 for that matter, right? You could have taken this call all the way to 11,800, honestly. And this is something that I had mentioned in the group as well, where we had predicted this move very easily. And we rode this whole session up till this black line that existed, which worked as resistance. And there were many people in the group who moved their cells to 10,600, or even for that matter around 11,200, 400, depending on everyone's appetite to take the risk, right? So now you might be asking how these lines originate. How do I understand if the lines that I'm drawing is correct, right? So let's zoom out a little bit. I will show you how you draw those lines, because a lot of people know how to draw lines. They just like draw something, but it really doesn't mean anything, right? So how do we make meaning out of these lines? And the way you make meaning out of these lines is like for this particular case, right? What I'm seeing is in this particular session, I'm looking at the maximum resistance spot, right? And what I'm seeing is there any immediate influence with this line that says that, yes, this line makes sense right here. Why didn't I draw a line here? See, I didn't. Why didn't I draw a line here? I didn't. So what I'm trying to say here is, look for this line. It's at maximum resistance. What you want to see is, when you draw the line, it should confluence that, yes, it is acting as support somewhere else also, and resistance somewhere else. So in this particular case, this was resistance. This is where the price stopped and then dropped down. Every time what you're going to look for is immediate change of the trend. Here the trend was, look from here, right? Long-term trend, not short-term daily trend I'm talking about. So look at this trend. It started from around, say, 15th of July 2017, and it went until 30th or 1st September 2017. And then the price started reacting and going down from there. So that's a change of trend, right? It changed the trend of what, almost two and a half months, and now going down, which means that price has reacted as resistance. And then almost for another 1.5 to 2 months, the price cannot break through that line, which means, and when it breaks through, you see a larger candle as compared to what you see everywhere here, right? Which means that it actually broke through it. You know, throwing a ball needs a lot of energy to break the ceiling, right? Or whatever you call that. So it broke it hard and went up, right? And it stayed there. Now let's go to the right corner of this line and see if the price constantly reacts to it. So look at this. This is the line here. The candle again reacted to it. That is 20 November 2018. You know, so look here, the last reaction with this line was around 12 October 17, right? So almost like what, 1 year, close to 1 year, right? Yep. So after 1 year also, with this line, look how the daily candle closed right above it. It said, okay, I'm going to take support here. Again, the next day didn't hold too long. That's a different thing because of whatever you call the reason. But at least you know that if the price is going to react to this line, either it's going to shoot up from this line or kind of spiral down right away. But you know that this is the pricing point. You don't need CNBC to tell you that. You don't need any trader outside to tell you that. Why? Because what if he has a wrong line drawn right at this candle, not this candle? Who are you going to complain about? So, so the thing is, learn yourself, try to protect your own money yourself. So look at this line here, right? So both these candles, right? It exactly reacted right at the stop and the start. Now the price stays beyond this line happily, and then a big candle happens, stops right at the line. Look at this example. See? And then the price is trying to take support here. Support means trying to see if the price actually drops below that line or not. And for days and days together, the candles don't go below this line, which only means that it proved that this is clear support until here, clear support. And then the price starts to shoot up, right? And then these different lines come into picture where these different levels are, and you can see that these lines are also reacting in a similar fashion. So for a trader, what is important? Important is this sign right here. The sign that these candles are staying above this line is the sign that the price is sustaining the 4,700 level. Look at the right side. Is the 4,700 level. It's sustaining that level very easily, which only means that the price is going to go up, probably because it's trying to find support here and happily trying to stay above that price. Now, that said, if you take the ride from here anywhere, you know that this price is where your stop loss is going to be, right? So below this price is where the stop loss sits, and then it goes up till here. Now this is the next line where you now decide if you want to really take the buy or not, right? Or sell it 100%. But now think about it this way: the black line, which is a long-term baseline that's coming here, and the blue horizontal. So like the diagonal line and the horizontal line both coming around in the same place. So look at how the price is happily reacting. Like the horizontal line is hitting the price. It tries to go through it, but the black line comes into confluence, right? And it tries to react. And it drops down. It cannot sustain the black line price, right? Of whatever on the right side you see 7,900, and the price drops. When it drops even below the blue line, making many traders feel that the price is going to spiral down very heavily. Again, there is always short covering, there is always long covering that happens, and those are different concepts as well. But you need to understand that here the price sustained. It tried to stop and tried to push through the price again. And this whole fighting between the bears and the bulls continued for many, many days until it came to this price, because it tried to break through here, didn't sustain, came back, tried to see support, which it feels that it sustained. It went back up, and then it again dropped below that line. So if people are trying to trade this price values, they are going to get hit hard, right? Because you will have daily pressure. So if you're a daily trader, you need to be looking for this lines yourself, rather than depending on something else to tell you what those prices are, right? And then once it pumps to the black line and it goes beyond this particular level, look at this level here, because it fell down every time from this level as well, right? So it didn't sustain. So once it crossed that level, look here, right? This is the line, right? So look at this dotted line near my mouse pointer. The candle started right at the dotted line, right? And then it went constantly up from there until it reacted with the top coming resistance diagonal level from the top. So what this tells you is when you draw the lines, what you're looking for is, if you're drawing from the resistance, sorry, it just moved. So when you're drawing from the resistance, if the price is reacting almost till the whole part of the line, sorry, of the candlesticks, right? There is another line the same way. And also on a long-term trend, when you look at a long-term trend, right, you want to see that these horizontal levels are sustaining, which only means that the price fell down, reacted very heavily to come back up every time it went down, right? And every time it kept going down, it tried to pump, but then look here, right? It constantly reacted and again came back saying that no, this price is not sustainable, I'm going to come down. And then it did a final try to break the line again. It came up until here, couldn't sustain, and happily went down from there. As soon as it came in line with the black line here, which is a long-term base support, it dropped so heavily that it could not even hold the blue line right here. So, which only means that the price went into capitulation. Okay, so we talked about those indicators, that accumulation and distribution phase, right? So this is called the accumulation phase, and what that accumulation actually means is, I will do a quick triangle to show what that means is, in this area, all the big buyers are actually doing the buying, because this is where people trade and lose money. The people panic, heavily panic around this kind of drops, because this drop is what, from around say 6,500 until 3,200. It's a complete 50% drop, in a matter of weeks or a couple of days, and so in cases of cryptocurrency. But look at this. This is where the whole buying happened, right below this line. And then if you see beyond this square, it pumped constantly to the top, right? And this is on the top is where exactly the distribution starts, and that's exactly what the accumulation and distribution stands for. So this particular square is where the accumulation happened, and this is where the distribution is. And what does that distribution mean is, so when it went to down, I'm pretty sure that if you look at the same timeline with these dates confluing on CNBC or any Twitter feeds or Facebook feeds or whatever, you will 100% see a lot of gurus, like those fake gurus, are going to claim that this is going to go down to 100, $0, $5, whatever you call it. It's the dead, and this happens not just here. Oil is the latest example, right? Minus $35. You really think that the oil industry is going to be dead? No. Fed is going to go print unlimited money out and rescue them, right? So what I'm trying to tell here is this is where the big money comes in and tries to buy it, and then pump the price all the way up. And that's exactly what has happened here. There are multiple examples of these triangles every time happening, and I will show you right now.